What's going on, guys? Good Thursday evening to you. It is good to see you, and it is good to be seen by you. Welcome, as always, to the show. I, of course, am the one and only Bill Sylvie, aka the Dungeon Delver, coming to you live, loud, and clear on a Thursday evening. And I want to apologize for missing out last night. I was tired. As of yesterday evening, I had gotten about 9 hours of sleep out of 72. Not good, not good, not good to do um, live streaming on. I don't think on my feet particularly well anyway. So when I was sitting there, like literally, I could feel my body just kind of going jolt, jolt, jolt periodically because it was falling asleep inside, even though my head hadn't. I knew that I would not have been a lot of fun trying to do a live stream last night, or maybe it would have been like huge amounts of fun. But whether you like seeing me fail or whether you like seeing me succeed and do really well, if you haven't already, and a great many of you have, I think we're at 7,085 now on the old subscribertron. If you would please click the subscribe button and click the bell icon for notifications about all the live streams that I do. I allegedly live stream 5 nights a week. I haven't the last few weeks, but it is what I'm supposed to be doing for you guys. So I apologize for missing out on that. But if you do that, if you subscribe, if you click the bell icon for notifications, you'll find out when I'm actually doing what I'm supposed to be doing, which is live streaming to you guys. So I'm excited about being back this evening. I wouldn't say that I'm rested. Like, honestly, if somebody said, I will super chat you $200 to leave the stream now and go to bed right this minute, I would take that offer. I'm tired, but I'm here for you guys. Unless one of you has $200 you want to super chat me, and I don't think you do. But you never have to super chat me, guys. I appreciate it. I love you lots for what you do. If you do want to support the show beyond subscribing, beyond liking the video, beyond leaving a comment, down below right there, you can buy me a coffee. You can support the show as a YouTube member for as little as $1.99, or the cheaper option. Let me tell you what, the cheaper and better option is Patreon, where you can support us for as little as $1 over on Patreon, and I really appreciate it. Jorge Uribe, good to see you, my friend. How are you? I hope you're having a wonderful evening all the way down at the other end of the planet. Hang on, my dude. Have you got like a hammock like bolted up down there, so you don't just keep on falling? Wheeling Dragon, hello. Volcano God, a long-time supporter, long-time friend, not just of the show. But at any rate, so there we are. And if you're wondering what I did last night, I rested. I rested. I watched 3 episodes of Avatar: The Last Airbender, the animated, with my daughter, and then I went to bed. So that's what I did. But anyway, we have a lot of stuff to talk about tonight. We have a multifaceted show, and I'm excited because it is the old school kind of show where I talk about a lot of different stuff, and it's not just a single purpose show. Zachary Melvin, thank you for popping in and saying hi. Let me tell you, good rule books that are clones of 1E and 2E. I can't speak to 2E. I think there's a 2E retro clone out there. Somebody's going to call me out on this because I'm not saying it right, but I think it's called For Glory and Gold, or Gold and Glory, or Glory and Gold. That is supposed to be a second edition AD&D retro clone. For first edition, bar none, hands down, there is no doubt, your 100% boilerplate standard. It is the first and the oldest complete rules retro clone, and that, of course, is Osric. I had a very tiny job on the original Osric, so my name appears in the credits, and I'm happy about that. I don't rush out and buy it from Black Blade or something. Well, do rush out and buy it from Black Blade if they have copies, but you don't have to rush out and buy it from Black Blade because you think you're helping me financially, because you're not. I don't make a dime for it, but it is nice. And if you ever run into me at a con, if you ever run into me at an event that I'm running somewhere, or you just happen to be in the same neck of the woods with me, and you're like, oh my God, that's the Dungeon Delver, and you have your copy of Osric, and you want my signature on it, maybe you're an autograph hound, I will gladly sign it for you. If you've got a pen or a marker or something. But anyhow, so anyway, to get to go back to tonight's topics. Tonight, we're going to look at the state of the character builder software. This has come so far so fast, guys. I don't want to spoil what you're going to see. It's small but significant. And I'm coding the last thing to do before I attach bards, before I go full ham and attach bards, because after bards are done, I release it to beta testing. And I'm excited about this. Amen, Volcano God, and thank you very much. That is absolutely worthy to put up on the screen. So the character gen software is getting closer. I've been saying it's been getting closer for like 3 weeks now of the 5 that I've been working on it. But I can tell you exactly precisely where the landmarks are. Percent bonuses, and I have the code sketched up on the edit piece. I guess I should call it the dev PC now. I have that is ready to meld into the code. After that, I got to do bards, and I'm going to be honest, you won't hear from me much about the code once I start bards, because that's going to be quite the grind. Ardu RPG, how you doing, my brother? My South America. Look, let me tell you guys something. I have a pretty strong following in South America. Okay, what can I tell you? I pretty much got the entire continent covered down there. So I'm going to warn you, if you're in South America and you're like, Dungeon Delver no es bueno, you may have a fight on your hands, okay? Somebody may start kicking your ass with capoeira or swinging a penguin at you. That's all I'm going to say about that, because I don't want to imply, but I'm just saying. So yeah, it'll be bards, and then I'm going to go in and I'm going to do some UI cleanup, because there's stuff you can see when you're making a character. Everything is fine, but it says that like I can't pull from this, and it's a bunch of legacy printfs for debug that basically have to go in and mask out or just delete completely. That's right, Jorge. That's right. But thank you, Volcano God. But anyway, yeah, once I get the UI cleaned up, I think I will probably do UI cleanup before I send it out to folks to beta test. And some people have asked me, some fans of the show have asked me, how do I, hey, can I get that? Can I get the source code to come back? First of all, it's not open source. I don't know that I ever will open source it, but it's not going to be open source initially. But you need to be on a PC running Windows 10 and have a very good knowledge of Python. Time to devote to this and a really, really, really good knowledge of first edition AD&D. Like your bug reporting is going to be, you're sitting there with a player's handbook going, that doesn't jive. And here's why it doesn't jive. You said like fighters get a 5% bonus for high strength. And on page such and such of the player's handbook, it says 10% bonus in this paragraph. That's the kind of QA that this is going to need. And if nobody wants to devote that much time to the QA, I'll do it myself. So it'll just take longer to do. Working on a video about the packing of the classes, working through all D&D versions, races, class, restricted class. Very cool, Ardu. That sounds really awesome. I wish I understood Portuguese. Make sure you click the thing on your video that does either subtitles or dubbing, like voiceover. I had someone comment on a video. I did have someone on a video leave a comment. And they're from Japan. And I guess they use machine translation. Not that I can really tell. Oh, that's a shame, Mardu. When you get it, you let me know. Because I want to hear. I would love to watch your videos. Other than just, the obligatory, I'll have this on even though I don't speak Portuguese kind of thing. I want to get that full Ardu experience as close as I can. But anyway, so I had someone from Japan leave a comment on my video and say, thank you so much for turning on auto dubbing. This was about Wizards of the Coast and their 5.2 OGL Creative Commons release. And no, it was the user stuff for using their website. It was when they were saying, yeah, upload it belongs to us now. So he was excuse me, I'm a little goopy. No, he was very nice and very complimentary and had some good insightful things to say. So what I'm saying is, if you're creating on YouTube and you have that option to switch on auto voice translation for your international fans, it's not just an American World Wide Web. It is not just an English World Wide Web. And machine translation these days makes it so cool to surf around the web and see the cool stuff you're missing. And if you can reach more fans that way, that's a good thing. That's a darn good thing. I love a good empanada, Jorge. I'll fight you over some empanadas. So anyway, moving right along. Hey, we got 69 people watching. Nice. Before we get into the software, though, I want to talk about something really awesome that's coming up here in literally just a few weeks. We are now across the line in the month where this is going to happen. In 20 days, we kick off GUOGC 4, the Great Underground Online Gaming Convention. It is a free online virtual convention that I have organized to run on Discord, where you can come and sign up for games. You can sign up to run games. We have panels. I will be having a panel with Alyssa Hazel. I will be having a panel with Tracy Lesh. I will be having a panel with Matt Finch. By the way, Matt's going to be here on the show next week also. So if you can't attend GUOGC, then you can come and you can hang out and you can you can talk to Matt through comments on the live stream. But Matt Finch will be there. Richard Witters will be there. He's an amazing artist. From he worked for Wizards of the Coast, but he's an old school guy at heart. I got to tell you guys, I have featured some of his art before. He gifted me a sketch of some of his art that I love and I want to get framed and hung up. But so Richard will be here. Sky Hernstrom will be here. Pulp fantasy author and creator of some of the merch. That's right. You can buy GUOC merch. You can get t-shirts, coffee mugs, whatever. Dungeon Minister will have that on his Teespring site. He has done an absolutely brutal GUOC 2025 computer mimic thing. Sky has done the Monster GUOC Bowl and a couple of GUOC logos for us. And I'm going to share those up a little later. So the GUOC is going to be great. Lots of guests, lots of great games, cost you zero. And guys, it's international. It's international. If you're in the Far East, if you're in Central Europe, if you're in South Africa, and guess what? There are fans of the show in all of those places. And you want to run or play in a game that is being run in any of those time zones, then guess what? You can do that. It's not like, well, it's 11 o'clock, we're closing the hall. You can run your games in those off hours. That is absolutely that's absolutely cool to do with me. The game grid is on the Discord, and I'm going to share the Discord now. Now, if you're like, oh, I already have the Discord, I will share it around. Please don't do that. Discord is really screwy, and I don't like it. Because you cannot have a perma link to a Discord, or at least I'm not able to. And some people are like, sure you can, you just do this, this, and this. I've been using Discord like 6 or 7 years now. I have never been able to permalink things. So I'm just telling you guys. So let me put that up here now. You know, I know the ISS is going to go away in a few years, but one thing I think is super cool is sometimes if they have the time, the astronauts on the ISS will get on ham radio bands, and you can talk to them. If you have the gear, they'll give you a shout out from the ISS. I think that's just as cool as all hell. So thank you again, Volcano God, for the soup. So there you go. There it is. That will take you right to the Discord for the GUOC. You can look in upcoming games. You can look if you want to be a game master at the GUOC, let me know. I will activate your game masterness. I'm going to talk tomorrow night a lot more about the GUOC and how you sign up for games and how you sign up to be a game master. Luther Pendragon, how are you, brother? I hope you're doing well, my friend. It has been a minute since we've seen you around. Yeah, Ardu. I did a little bit snakes, spiders, and sphinxes, but I am at least somewhat friends with the people who created it. I was in the room when it was born. But anyway, so do me a solid, check it out, and I will put that link back up in a little while if you guys want it. So, and again, guys, it costs you zero. It costs you nothing to go sign up for the GUOC. Let me just tell you this real quick, Artie. This is just for you, but anyone else who gets amused by this, that's fine too. Wizards of the Coast, when they heard that Ozark was going to come out, they tried so hard. They sent so many emails to Matt and Stuart to try and get them to not release it. Not like this is an injunction against you. This is illegal. Just like, hey, could you not do this? We don't think this is right. Do us a favor and hold off just 72 hours. And they're like, no, we're not doing that. It is perfectly within the rights. And they got good lawyers. And so the good people of Wizards of the Coast fucked off. And that was 20 years ago. No, not the cease and desist kind. The begging, we're being polite, please don't do this kind. I will do that, Luther. Time to play America. What time is love? Absolutely, Jorge. Absolutely. And the year of our Lord, 992, the justified ancients of Mumu set forth in their long boats to rediscover the lost continent. So, yeah, exactly, RPG Grandma. Exactly. And yeah, the launch of Osric gave us Swords and Wizardry. It made it okay for, like, if there's any game like Blueholm, what else? OSE. OSE exists because OSE was able to run because Osric walked first. So we're gonna, you know what? All you guys should be here. If you can't be here this coming Thursday, you should be here in a few weeks when Matt is doing his thing. It will be Saturday afternoon. We will have Matt Saturday afternoon or evening. We'll have Matt on, and you can hit him up with all your Osric questions. So anyway, yeah, all that and more coming up this week. Now, I want to show you guys the toy that I've been working on. I'm really proud of this. So let's take a look at it. Again, I'm going to ask you guys to please and kindly ignore that version number. That version number is so out of date. That is not the version that's running right now. And I should probably actually click on the window instead of the broadcast window. There we go. Okay. So this part of the user interface is still, still not great. Move that over a little bit. There we go. So here we go. We're going to do this from scratch as always. So we're going to create a character. And I still have methods 1 through 4. 5, that is not method 5 from Unearthed Arcana. That is just manual entry. You just go in and enter in your own stuff. To be quick about it, we're going to do method 3. That always just generates some pretty good stats by and large. When it comes to tabletop, I'm a method 1 guy because method 3 is 3d6 6 times for each stat. And then you just take the best of each. Here in the software, method 3 is hands down the fastest. So we're going to do method 3. And what did we get? We did really good. 17 strength, 13 intelligence, 15 wisdom, 13 dexterity, 15 constitution, 17 charisma. Folks, I think we have a paladin. We have a paladin. So we're going to go human. And you can see there, I'm going to turn off my little thing. You guys know who I am. You have selected human. Are you sure? Yes, I am. Gender, you know what? We'll do female. Look at all the options available to me. Cleric, Druid, Fighter, Paladin, Ranger, Magic User, Thief, Assassin. But I want that Paladin. I want to do a Paladin. Yeah, no Tiefling Bards. Sorry, Hager. All right. So we're going to start out, as we should, level 1 Paladin. 3 proficiencies to select, as you do. Now, this is really cool. I want you guys to see this. So let's do melee. We'll do a long sword and a mace. And then back. Now, I have a proficiency left. This is so cool. Engine Joe, this will be available. It'll be ready when it's ready. I don't know if this will run on a phone because this will not have a graphic user interface. So, I mean, you would be pinch zooming if I could even get it to run on a phone. It will never be an iDevice, like it will never run on iOS. Maybe I'll do a Mac version if the Kickstarter calls for it, but it will never be an iOS app because I'm not going to go through the hoops of getting a bunch of iDevices to try and run it on and then pass through Apple's bullshit compliance stuffs. Well, this isn't DOS. This is 64-bit clean Python code. So it's not running in DOS. It's running in a command shell. Okay. So here we go. Now, you'll notice I've left a proficiency out. Done. Are you sure? Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Now, we've got 110 gold. Let's shop. I always recommend, whether you're playing with the paper or pen and paper, or you're doing something like this, you will run out of money so fast buying adventuring gear and other crap. Get your armor, get your weapons. Well, my hope is to, even though this will open in a console, my hope is that I will be able to get this to compile, and you just run it. You just double click an icon and run it. DOS. Yes. Thomas Smith, it's DOS. It's running in DOS. With my apologies to Jorge and or do both. All right, so let's do armor first. And we are here. Your best bang for the buck. Your best bang for the buck, if you got an upfront fighter, is actually ring mail. Now let's get a shield. Let's at least get a small shield. All right, so done. Now let's get weapons. Melee weapons. Again, this is something that'll be fixed, so we're going to go with sword long. And we're going to do, I said footman's mace, right? So there we go. So we go back. And we go back. Now, let's go ahead and let us buy some miscellaneous equipment. We're going to get a backpack. We're going to get a small helm, which really cuts into our budget a lot, but it's necessary. We're going to get a hooded lantern. We're going to get a couple flasks of oil. We're going to get a 10-foot pole just because we can. We're going to get a 50-foot length of rope. We're going to get a sack large, a sack small. Say 4 nice iron spikes. a tinderbox for sure, a couple of torches, and a water skin. Because he's a paladin, Thomas. Yes, Robert. So we're done shopping here. Let's get some provisions. We'll get a couple of good pints of wine. Did I get those? Yeah, I did. I can see it up there. Couple weeks of standard rations. I'm not building a thief right now, Thomas. No. I got the stats for a paladin, you see, and I gotta anytime if I'm just like I just need to see if such and such breaks. If I get a paladin, I'll go, ooh, a paladin, and generate the thing all the way through. Oh, what can I say? So we're done. And then we're done shopping. Are you sure? Yes, we are. Check for psionics? Sure, let's see if she gets psionics. And it crashed. See, that's what I'm saying. That's what I got to do. I gotta bug test this. So here, we'll just do it. We'll just do it again. 3 didn't get paladin stats this time, so we'll do an elf. Yes. She died on her way out of the market. Our paladin died on the way out of the market. So fighter magic user thief. I'll do 1, 1, 1. 7 proficiencies, melee. We'll go with dagger, bastard sword, broadsword, long sword. Go with ranged. We're going to do a long bow and a short bow. And we're going to hold out 1 proficiency. So done. Yes. We're going to be done shopping because I want to show I want to show off the character. You guys have seen shopping. I want to show off the character worksheet without it crashing. Yes. Yes, Robert Phillips. So we're done shopping. Are you sure? Yes. No, obviously. Neutral good. Guinevere. And we save as HTML. Save as Guinevere. And here it says, would you like to create another character? So we say yes. Now that brings us back here. But now we're going to use load to save character. So we're going to load. We're going to load Guinevere. Now here's Guinevere. Now this is the coolest thing. Check this out, guys. For all the people who wanted it, yes. Guinevere the elf is age 137, young adult. I can now come down here. I gotta work on this a little bit, guys. So let's do that. Okay, everything lines up nice and neat when I do it like that. Young adult, I mean, basically the equivalent of an 18 or 19-year-old. Okay, so now we can see if it will properly, do the thing. Trying to get it to line up, guys. I'm sorry. Again, something that will be fixed in the final. I mean, it'll fill the same stuff that an AD&D character sheet will, Engine Joe. No. This isn't a game. This is not a game. I want to emphasize that most strongly. This is not a game. This is not the charade. This is a character creator. So let's see. So we have our thief abilities, but now look here. I can age her. How many years pass? 300. Age goes up to 437, mature, and you'll note Constitution went down. Constitution went down exactly as it should. Got mature, Constitution went down. But the thing that I wanted to really show you guys was, remember how I didn't take my weapon proficiency? Look over here. I can add a weapon proficiency back. Well, the crash isn't random. I know exactly why it's crashing, Michael. It won't do that to users. So weapon proficiency. Oh, look. Choose one to learn. Now, I will prettify this. But look, I skipped one, and it says I have one slot remaining. So let's... I need to take arrows out. Arrows, and I think sling stones are in there too. Yeah, sling bullets are in there. I need to take those out of the proficiencies table. But let's not take a proficiency in arrow. Let us instead take a proficiency in, oh, I don't know. How about light crossbow? So now I have all my proficiencies. Length. Bow stick and joe stick are cut to specific lengths in iron shod. A staff can just be a neat sapling that you've taken all the branches off of. So I was very, very happy about that. Oh, and this is another thing I added. Reentrant purchase system. I forgot to buy equipment. Purchase. And there we go. Armor, weapons, equipment. Ooh, I need to fix that platinum coinage too. That should not be 620. That should be 310. But I can come in, I can buy equipment, which again, I mean, you know, that's everything. And I will break this out into the proper categories. So let's jump back out of there. And I can save this new character. Save it as HTML. I'm going to take the JSON save option out. I just don't want to confuse people. It'll be text or HTML. And then save her again as Guinevere. But those are the new features, guys. I'm really excited about that. Fixing bugs, of course, is paramount. But that is what it do. That is what it do. And I will share with you guys when at the appropriate time. Oh, you know what? In case you have not seen the program at all, let me see if I can get this here. Where did it go? All right. Let's go back over to Studio. And let me just change that window. There you go. Someone was asking about how the character sheet looked. And one thing I will be doing is putting the age out here on the character sheet. So you'll have that on the character sheet also. There's all the stuff, the thief abilities, first level spells, spell slots, alignment, languages, racial advantages, encumbrance, coins, weapons proficiencies. You note we added crossbow light, and now it's there on the sheet. Saving throws for each class. Hit point calculation by level. Did not do well on hit points. You'll notice hit points, are they listed? Yeah, 1 hit point. I averaged 1. She's frail. She's frail. So there you guys go. I am really looking forward to being done with this. I'm getting sick of going, crap, one more thing. And then I gotta dig through my code. And then I break things like you saw earlier this evening. Things get broken. I think I printed this as a PDF, and I think it was 2 pages. I printed a really extensive character, and it printed on 2 pages. So if your printer does duplexing, you'll basically be front and back of a sheet. I thought about getting absolutely insane and making this fill out a clone of the AD&D character sheet. You guys know the ones, the goldenrod ones. I can't. I am just towing the line, and I'm not going to go into how I'm going to do this. I am just towing the line on legal with this thing when it goes to Kickstarter. So I can't really do something as bold as that and just slap AD&D on it everywhere. I've got to be really careful. I can compare it to AD&D. I can say, this compares with a program to generate first edition characters for Advanced Dungeons and Dragons using the first edition Advanced Dungeons and Dragons Player's Handbook. It's all in the wording. But if I just put AD&D at the top of it, yeah, they're going to point the Death Star at my house. Apologies accepted, Commander Delver. So that's the program so far. One little hiccup, one little glitch aside. It does what it needs to do. And I will hopefully I'll have it into your guys' hand by July or August. It's going to require a lot of testing, you know. The code tends to be pretty fragile. If I hadn't done a paladin, I would have been over here like la 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 la. It works perfectly, and I would have found out eventually, hopefully. And that's part of the testing. That's part of the pre-beta testing that I've got to do, is sitting down with this thing. Yeah, that's right, Vinny. Take care, Charles. Enjoy your dinner. I've literally got to sit down and go through every possible race and class combination, every single possible race and class combination, and including dual classing. Well, I hope this is one of them, Vinny, because when this is done and I take a chance to breathe, I'm going to start working. Basically, what I wanted to do, what I wanted to create, was a modern version of the Dungeon Master's Assistant. Now, as nice as the Dungeon Master's Assistant was, what I have does so much more. You couldn't level those characters. You couldn't alter their stats. You couldn't add gold to them. You couldn't drain levels from them. You couldn't dual class at all. So it was nice, but it has shortcomings. And to be fair, it's 35 years old, possibly 36. It's old enough to vote, drive, drink, buy cigarettes or weed, hold down a job, have a family. I may put like Kinder and with a circle and a red slash through it. But yeah, it's creaky. And I said, I think I can do better. So back months and months and months ago, I started saying, okay, what's the easiest to learn language out there? I thought it was Python. I was like, I don't want to do it in BASIC. That's silly. People will laugh at me. So many times have I sat down with this and hit a point in Python where I'm just like, then I'll hammer it out in BASIC and hand it over to ChatGPT, and I'll say, how would I do this in Python? Wow, Bill, that's a really cool looking Dungeons and Dragons program you have there. Sure, I can convert this to Python for you. Awesome. Thank you. I need you to include it in between here and here. So make it so that it hooks in properly. Sure thing. Boom. Old Fortran, yes. Old Grognard's doing Fortran. the next release will be in COBOL, or possibly COMOL. Or maybe fourth to Python, yeah. Well, I do know that Python was invented by a group of Englishmen back in the 1970s. I'll do it in Algol. I'll do it in Algol 86 or Ada. I'll do it in MIPS assembly, MIPS ASM. Orbital, believe me, I have sharpened my Python skills as I've been doing this, but there are times when I just hit the wall, dude. And you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. Orbital, because I've done that. I've gotten to like such a horrible situation where I will type up a function in BASIC and be, hey, ChatGPT, fix this, or make this in Python. And it does it, and I plug it in, and it doesn't work. And I'll tell Python, VS Code through these errors. And then it'll go, oh, I know why VS Code through these errors. Here's the fixed version. Why didn't you just give me a working version in the first place? But that's not that's not, me just saying, oh, ChatGPT, code this for me. I mean, if ChatGPT could do what I've done here, because this is approaching 6,000 or 8,000 lines, I think now, somewhere in there. If you could just say, here's my ideas, make a program that does this, nobody would be selling software anymore. I could sell it as Kinder and Tiefling free. Absolutely. One thing I will say that on my journey, like after it helped me crack a particularly difficult problem, I asked Grok, I said, can you make a flat shaded first person moving around raycasting engine? Sure, here's a simple and it like 30 lines. Just flat gray cubes in a flat shaded void that you can move right. It's bonkers. But anyway, well, fortunately, when I'm done with this, all of my terrible mistakes will be hidden from people because it will be compiled and it will be running in its own console. You will not have to type things in a command line. I mean, you'll still have to use the interface will still be the keyboard, but it's going to be compiled. You won't have to mess with anything. But that's enough to whet your appetites, I hope. Oh, I don't think I finished my sentence. I wanted something that I could supplant the Dungeon Masters Dungeon Masters Assistant Volume 1. My next project is Dungeon Masters Assistant Volume 2. God help me. City encounters, country encounters, treasures, monsters, a monster catalog, all the treasure types, experience point calcs for monster encounters, experience point calcs for it's going to be a beast. It's going to be more than this. To most people, it will be orbital air. It will be hidden from most people. As I know someone can go through and decompile what I put out there, unless, turn on encryption. But the key thing with it being compilable and run in place is that I don't want people to have to fart around with the command line. You just double click it and it goes. TXG, how are you? Good to see you. Enough of this programming nonsense. Guys, that's the first half of the show. The back half of the show is this. We are fixing to talk about one of the modules of all time. I said that I wouldn't deep dive this thing, and I changed my mind. I decided to go ahead and deep dive it. I don't know that I'll ever run it again, but I think it's an important enough part of advanced Dungeons and Dragons history that at the very least we take a very good look at the start of this deep dive. And certes, we will not finish this deep dive on the show. And that is the Temple of Elemental Evil. The Temple of Elemental Evil. This module has a very curious history. And part of that history is that its name, or rather, I should say, its module code is not at all accurate to what it should have been. So Temple, T, obviously it's T. I've talked about this before. Gary had wanted to release a series of modules that were a grand crusade that were tied deeply in with the heart and soul of the World of Greyhawk setting. The WG series, WG 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All adventures set in and about the World of Greyhawk. So he started putting together WG1 Village of Hamlet. He wrote the lore, he wrote the background. Unfortunately, this was starting to happen as the wheels were starting to come off at TSR. Gary was sent into exile in California just as he was finishing this module up. Instead of being released as WG1, it was released as T1, the Village of Hamlet. What did the T stand for? Training? Because it was for first level characters. T for the? Maybe. But as players who picked up the module realized, there was something sinister near the Village of Hamlet. The temple of elemental evil. And the module was going to that's not wrong, Robert Phillips. That's not wrong at all. But the module was going to be part of a grand run of modules. It was going to lead to WG2, and in fact, WG2 is referenced in some early pastel printings of T1. This module will conclude in WG2, the Temple of Elemental Evil. Yes, I do, TXG. But I also think that Gary was a very trustworthy soul. And, well, if you've read Dune, TXG, you'll know the quote, "The slow knife penetrates the shield." So, WG2, the Temple of Elemental Evil. Now, we need to talk about the title itself of this module. The Temple of Elemental Evil. We've all played it. We all know about it. The Temple of Elemental Evil deals with priests who worship the evil aspects of earth, air, fire, and water. Something like that, Thomas. Except it wasn't at all. You see, you'll notice that on the cover it says by Gary Gygax and Frank Mentzer. The reason you're fighting worshipers of dirt, water, wind, and hot stuff is because Frank Mentzer didn't understand what Gary meant by elemental evil. He meant it as in the essence of evil. That evil itself was an element, not that the elements were evil. So when Frank Mentzer, who had just gotten started at TSR around that time with his edit of Tom Moldvay's Basic, and had DM'd some AD&D tournaments, he stepped up and said, "Hey, Gary, I'll write it for you. I know you're busy with the entertainment thing." So Gary gave him a map, preliminary notes, and Frank went to town. What Frank returned was not what Gary had planned. The big bad in the Temple of Elemental Evil was Zugmatoy, and she's still in there. But there was never supposed to be evil priests of the elements. And if you're going to say, yeah, but it's better today, it's better because of that, I heartily disagree with you. So Gary just took it and ran with it when he cleaned it up and edited it. He didn't have time to do otherwise. So now we're stuck with the evil elements. instead of Zugmatoy, or worse yet, a Cthulhu-like being. So those are the two big things you should know about the title of the Temple of Elemental Evil. It was not to have been the T series, and the elements didn't really come into play. If you like that aspect of it, that's great. But let's go ahead and crack this sucker open. Now, we have done a deep dive of T1 already many moons ago. You guys go look up Village of Hamlet. You'll see the deep dive of Village of Hamlet. And I think I say at the end of that deep dive, I will never do a deep dive of Temple of Elemental Evil because reasons. Sort of, Jorge. That is closer to the mark than Frank was. So let's go ahead and take a look then. Now, another printing aspect I want to notice, a lot of people think this was the first super module. And as well as this sold, we got a lot more super modules from TSR at the time, which were low effort. They just had to retypeset some of them and then kind of link them together, kind of link the individual modules together. Some of them were okay, like GDQ 1 through 7, Queen of the Spiders, which is all of the G modules, all of the D modules, and the entirety of Q1 in a single booklet. And you know what? I'll show you guys. Hang on a second. Thomas, a module? Here, let me show you. I'll get it. I should have had it already. So here we go. Here's my copy. You guys can't really see that. Here's my copy of the Temple of Elemental Evil. This is like the 4th or 5th copy I've owned. I keep getting them from people. We'll just kind of zoom in so you can see that a little bit better. They are small books. This one is a super module, and it clocks in at 128 pages. But they are a single adventure. In this case, a single campaign bound in a book. No rules are included. It is modular. It is meant to plug in to your campaign. Now, the interesting thing, the answer to your question is the answer to both of your questions, Thomas. These were never meant to be fully fleshed out. They are themselves meant to be modular. If you don't want to have certain aspects in it, change it up for your campaign. At some point, people started treating these as sacrosanct. You have to run the module exactly as it's written, or else, I don't know, something. Take care, Bob. Be well. So the module today, what I would call a module, they call adventure paths, I think. I could be wrong. Somebody check me out on that for 5th edition. But most modules at the time clocked in around 15 to 20 pages. So this, being 100 pages and covering such a large dungeon complex, 2 small towns, an overarching plot, they called a super module. And then they took a lot of their previously published modules, the Giants series, the Giants Drowned Queen, the Slavers series, B1 through B9. They introduced the concept of the super module. So we wound up with many of these that were just compilations of many modules. However, this is not the first super module. The first super module is G123, the first 3 Giants modules. At any rate, now the curious thing about this, and it's something that I don't like, is I should have had the PDF up so we could kind of do a point-by-point comparison. But briefly, I'll spare you guys. You know what? Let me see if I have it. I feel like it merits a look. Do I have it here? Here we go. Now, this is a newer 4-color cover of the Village of Hamlet, but I just want to show a few things, and even its art is different. But if we get in to the Village of Hamlet, you can see immediately that the layout is different, but we do not get nearly as much awesome art from Dave Trampier, from Dave Sutherland, and so on. Even Jeff D's art is largely removed. So we don't get nearly as much good art. I mean, you can see here, there's a little piece from Tramp. But by and large, we're missing a lot of cool art. There's a little ratty picture from Tramp. And then that's the end of it. And they have a little bit of art in here for the later sections. Oh, you guys couldn't see it. I didn't even have it up there. Let's try that again. Here is what I meant to share with you guys. All right. So here is some of the art we get. Things like that. So we don't get like the cool cover, the back cover, or anything like that of this module in T1 to 4. They got as much of it, I think, as they could. So we didn't get the nice big piece from Tramp, but we did get this one. And we got that one. We got the ruined moat house. So it's not too bad, but really there's a few pieces that I think that they could have given us. But you can also notice that the layout is different. RPG Grandma, is the power company literally just like reaching into your thermostat and shutting it off like remotely? That's nuts. That's completely bonkers. I'll mail you a digital thermostat that's not wired if you want it. Take care, old Grognard. Modules can be complete campaigns. Certainly G1 through G3 and then D1 through D3 and Q1 is a complete campaign. But it's not RPG Grandma. I'll work something out with you. See, dungeon ministers out there answering questions, and honestly, I always say I have the best looking and smartest audiences of all the 5 night a week or so classic TTRPG live stream shows on YouTube. Rob Turner, good to see you. I hope you're well, my friend. Now here's an interesting thing, Thomas, who is distracting us, but that's fine. I mean that in the best ways. The Keep on the Borderlands B2 is one module, 36 pages. It can comprise a campaign that could last for a year or more. I mean, what is considered a complete campaign? There's so many just so many definitions of what constitutes a campaign. Some DMs create their own campaign world and never use published modules. The campaign is just what you're doing in the game world. Thomas, I would say more that modules are a framework rather than brick. The bricks are the campaign world itself. Greyhawk, Kryn, Toril, Dark Sun. And the rule books. Well, the rule books are really the foundation. So think of it like that. Foundation, Dungeon Master's Guide, Monster Manual, Player's Handbook. Framework, modules. Bricks, campaign worlds. Oh, thank you, Painting with Bo. I really appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you. I'm just Dungeon Minister. I'm sending you an invite link. You're just going to answer questions tonight. I'm going to sit back here and pick my toes. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I'm just you're doing it better than I could. But let's all kidding aside. Let's jump back to Temple of Elemental Evil. The text here is essentially the same. So as you've seen the Village of Hamlet live stream, you have seen the Village of Hamlet live stream, haven't you? All the live streams I did for Village of Hamlet. Now, one thing that they keep in here, I think this is just again, I thought this was Gary being superly, like, just supremely dickish. If seriously threatened, Lareth will offer all his non-magical treasures, jewelry, coins, and all else as ransom for his life. If Lareth is slain, there will be cautious and discreet inquiries in Hamlet as the servants of evil therein make every attempt to find out what happened. If any of Lareth's possessions turn up, the slayers are revealed. An assassin of 10th level who can speak the alignment language of the individuals as well as those of major allies will come to the village in 5 to 20 days to eliminate the offenders. Handle this as you see fit. Jeru and Turjon of Hamlet will certainly aid those attacked. If the assassin is killed, nothing further will be attempted. Guys, look in the Dungeon Master's Guide and look or the Player's Handbook and look under the table of assassinations. A 10th level assassin is going to pick off 2nd and 3rd level characters like he's plucking maraschino cherries out of a jar with a fork. It's bonkers. Send a 10th level assassin after your party because they won. At least if they manage to win against the assassin, another one won't come along. Take care, Padre. But anyway, I bitched about that before, and I'm not going to again. So, but that is the entirety. You get all of T1 in here. Inspector Gadget isn't going to insert himself into DM's videos. Inspector Gadget may not return. So, what do we get into then? What comes up next? Well, from here, you could be forgiven for thinking that it would follow in can someone make a D&D version of Inspector Gadget? With enough magic items, you can do anything. But you could be forgiven for thinking that the rest of T1 to 4, if you've only heard of it but not played it, has a defined T3 and a defined T2 and a defined T3 and a defined T4. It does not. It has the village of Hamlet, and then it has everything else. So let's take a little bit of a look at everything else for a little bit. Now, this is going to be the first of many, so we're going to be doing that. We'll be going on. We might even jump into this on Monday because I live stream in the afternoon now on Mondays. But I'm still feeling the burn, so we're going to do this for about 15 more minutes as we dig in to T2. Now, one of the worst monsters you can ever inflict on a party in AD&D is box text. And oh boy, does the interlude Hamlet to Nulb have a lot of slaying that you have to do. This is a highlight of Frank Menser right here. How do I know this is Frank Menser? Pick up any module by Frank Menser and compare it to any module by Gary. I mean, we can look at it right here. This is the biggest chunk of box text in T1. Frank's narrative, at least I think it's Frank's. We'll have to ask Paul Stormberg, which, by the way, that's a new feature that's coming to the show. And I want to tell you guys about that while I continue to scroll down. You guys know Paul. He's been on the show many times. I am but a student of the history of Dungeons and Dragons. He is the professor. So I want you guys to ask questions, to send me questions, email me questions, to ask Paul, and Paul will come in and we'll pick the best question every week, and we'll have Paul in a little brief spot in a show, might be pre-recorded, and I just play it back for you guys, where Paul answers your questions. It's our own From the Sorcerer's Scroll. The box text that you always have to edit. Yes. Because they might have done things completely differently. Their quest at this point might be, Hamlet lies in ruins behind you. The flames of the sacrifices of the peasantry within that you committed reach into the night sky as you triumphantly stride to Nulb to join the temple. It might be completely different from what is written out here. But no, see these boxes around here? Those are railroad tracks. And that's bad. That's the plan, Jorge. Now, one thing I will do For a super chat of $50, I'll read this whole thing in the voice of Alex Jones. I will read every jot of that box text with my Alex Jones impression. And then when you think you're free, Players Historical Notes, it starts up again. Fortunately, it's only about half the length. But effectively, a full page is box text. You're on, Daniel. You're on. And then we get to rather extensive notes for the Dungeon Master, which are actually fine. Now, this actually is for this is good info for yeah, you pay to see the cards, Daniel. You pay to see the cards. So Thomas, this I think will be of particular interest to you. World of Greyhawk setting. Hamlet, Nulb, the Temple are all vital parts of Greyhawk. This epic adventure formed the basis for a mini campaign within the larger Greyhawk campaign. It wasn't exactly a sideshow as it turned out, but the adventuring began that way. Many veterans of the Greyhawk campaign, as well as many newcomers, began adventuring in and around Hamlet about 10 years ago. So this came out in 84 or 85, so you're talking about 75 or so. From those episodes rose Byrne and Rufus, Jeru, Turjon, Otis, Yday, and the rest. After clearing out all of the Temple's agents in the Hamlet area, various characters banded together to assault the Temple itself. Levels rose sufficiently that characters from the original Greyhawk campaign became involved, and Lord Robilar eventually entered the Temple with a small party. Yeah. Thomas, you DM'd a game once. What I did was a form of the game theory Prisoner's Dilemma. So I kind of that's fascinating. I am fascinated by game theory talk. I will put you in timeout if you say that again, Wave. I'm gonna move this over so I don't have to like twist my head around. All right, so Robilar arrived on its carpet of flying and then set off into the temple depths, leaving his trusty orc hero Quidge to guard the transport device and a pair of griffins. While other adventurers proceeded circumspectly, Robilar bullied his way through the temple. 2 days later, much of the temple was sacked, bits and pieces of monsters were spread about, and a certain personage was loosed. But in the process, the minions of good had been alerted, and they too arrived in the area in force. Robilar left with pursuit hot on his tail, Quidge wearing a new poncho he'd made from Master's flying rug, 2 days being a long time to wait in the cold. Robilar's ravages were followed by the army of enraged good folk, led by Tensor and associates, including Otis, Byrne, Rufus, et al. Zugamatoy had been freed, but not so much remained for her after all this fun. So, like Robilar, she also departed in some haste. The final result was a draw with strategic edge for chaotic evil. All of this happened on another world from yours. Now you have a similar setting. Who knows how your campaign will develop? Thomas, sit up and pay attention. I cannot do a Fran Drescher voice. I'm sorry, Thomas. I can't. So those two paragraphs right there, which you need not read the players, are incredibly vital information. And Thomas, that should both obfuscate and clarify what entails a campaign in the old school setting. Now we get the secret temple of the history. The village of Hamlet flamethrower. The kids love this. When the demoness Zugmatoi initially conceived the plan to establish her own rule on a portion of the Flayanus, she decided to use as many tools as possible, just as did her competitor, Loth. Consulting some of her clerical servants, Zugmatoi decided that elemental evil would have a more appeal than a cult dedicated to her beloved fungi. Recruiting was not difficult, and soon the rudiments of the Temple of Elemental Evil were flourishing. The beauty of the quadrate system was obvious to Zugmatoi. Each type of elemental evil would appeal to a broader base of servants and followers, and certain ones would actually serve her directly. The 4 separate elemental temples would also compete, spreading evil more effectively and also serving to check one another if any grew too powerful. Zugmatoi, of course, desiring to retain all real power in her own grasp. The appeal of elemental destruction and demonic aid attracted many malign and twisted creatures to the temple, and it grew ever more rapidly. So basically, from this point forward, we have some really good and vital history for the Dungeon Master. This is a nice little piece up here. This is, I believe that's Larry Elmore, or it might be Jeff Easley, but regardless, I am kind of curious as to why there's a Klingon right in the center of the picture. It's probably supposed to be a half orc, or maybe even a full orc. This is in Nulb. Well, the temples of elemental evil in the Temple of Elemental Evil are all one. All 4 of them are in one module. There is one other evil temple which I think plays a little bit closer to what Gary had initially envisioned, and that, of course, is in the lost temple. I'm sorry, the Forgotten Temple of Tharizdun, which is a WG coded module. It is WG4. Or is it 5? I'll have to look. Anyway. So vital Greyhawk history in these 2 sections, guys. Yeah, that looks like an Elmore girl, center right there. Now, some people insist that Loth was not supposed to be part of this module, that she is only supposed to be focused on in the GDQ series. But remember, this stuff, other than adjusting for Frank doing the whole thing with the elements, which is, I think we'll get Paul's clarification on that. But other than that, I have heard that her mention in T2 or T1 was initially a mistake, that it was just vestigial, and rather than retcon it, Gary just decided to go full ham and say, okay, she has stuff to do in here also, and that helped TSR link this and the Queen of the Spiders GDQ 1 to 7. In fact, they reference this super module in GDQ 1 to 7. Let's see what time it is, guys. I am fading fast. So before we dive into Nulb and get into the ruins, I think that is where we're going to that is a nice place to set the aircraft down for the night. Because like I said, I'm fading fast. I ain't been doing it right, guys. I ain't been doing it right. I've been sitting up too late, getting too little sleep. She is a great baddie. I love her to death. And odds are she would love me to death right back. All of the temples had some common characteristics. I mean, they were all evil. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead, guys, and wrap it up. Listen, I want to thank everybody for being here. Thanks for playing with the character generator with me and watching it crash, because it's new software and it's going to do that. I'm glad it crashed, because if I had not known, it might have gone into beta testers' hands. But keep an eye peeled for that, guys. That's gonna come out soon. More deep dives. I miss the old school deep dives. I've just been like running this like a just a late night talk show lately. We can do this some tomorrow, but tomorrow I really want to focus a lot on the GUOGC. I want to show you guys. I'll share the Discord screen with you and show you how to sign up for the GUOGC, because I really want more of you guys to be there. I would really like the GUOGC to break an attendance of 100 this year. I don't know if it will, but we'll have to see. With that said, everybody, thank you all for being here. It was lovely to see everyone. Please subscribe if you're watching this video in the future. Leave a comment down below and give it a like if you like it. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in tonight. And let me just remind you of something. I just consider yourself lucky that I have never unleashed the Temple of Elemental Owl Bears. Peace. Good night. God bless you all.
Have you seen my owl bear? Here's to all the weirdos everywhere, in the woods and in the air. Have you seen my owl bear? Should I shave off all my hair? Bobs are all around, some live in tunnels underground. Some are fat, some are rich, some are sleeping in a ditch. Can you ride a crooked horse without a saddle, way off course? Naked as a toad, all the way to Smoky Joe's. Have you seen the little creep driving fast in his little green Jeep? He smells like fish and brandy, but his rotten teeth look dandy. Take me to the show, I don't care if fast or slow. From action flicks to dancing dicks, just take me to the show.